What does it mean to be British? When people think of British culture, a lot of things might spring to mind. Kings and queens, old wars and new wars, cars, Spitfires, scientific breakthroughs, freedom, oppression, racism, equality, miners, farmers, TV, film, music. But to me, it's something else. Pubs are more than just centres for alcohol abuse. At the very best, they can be the beating heart of a local community. Doesn't matter where you go in this country. You're never far from a little sanctuary, somewhere you can get a nice drink and, should you care to look for it, a little warmth from those around you. When you look online, it can be easy to think that we are more divided than ever, that hate has seeped its way into every belief system. But then I think back to my times in the pub, and there on the ground you remember that kindness isn't dead. I wish there was a way that I could use my skills to bring this experience to everybody. I wish I could spread this quiet joy, that peace, that serenity. This might have got away from me. Last Orders is a bombastic, exaggerated interpretation of the pub through first-person multiplayer. It's chugging pints, smoking cigarettes, terrible dancing, getting in fights. But through that setting, I've done my best to incorporate the all-important social aspect. The game features quite heavily proximity-based voice chat to talk and laugh with your friends. NPCs will turn to you and each other to give the impression of conversation, all trying to cultivate an idea of sociality that cuts through the violent and comedic overtones. But now I'm going to be honest with you. Something about this digital old set just doesn't feel right. How about a change of scenery? How about I make a deal with you? Last Orders, as I speak, is out right now on Steam. It's $5 plus a 10% launch discount. It's less than the price of a pint. Tell you what, next time you go out, get one less pint. Then think about it. You've basically got the game for free. And then, to celebrate this wise financial decision, get yourself 2 more pints. And while you're sipping on those, if you'll indulge me, I'd like to talk to you like that middle-aged regular in the corner that just doesn't know when to stop. And I'll tell you the story of how Last Orders came to be. The tale starts around mid-October. I was working 2 jobs, one here behind the bar, and the other soil sampling on the off days where I'd go around to random farms and look at their dirt. This is exactly where I pictured myself as a budding programmer when I was 10 years old. In the time I had left in the week, I was working on Build Fight Game, my in-development voxel-based FPS game that you can wishlist on Steam right now. I've been working on this project for just over 2 years, feeling incredibly disheartened, and it was all in the space of the week that I got the news that we'd run out of dirt to sample, so I was losing my job effectively sampling soil, and separately, at the social club where I was working, they were moving to their winter hours, which meant that I lost my regular Wednesday shift. So pretty much, I was mostly unemployed, and I was left with 2 options. First, I could find more part-time work, get some money coming in short term, keep doing what I was doing, as in spending my limited paycheck on booze and TF2 hats, or I could use the time that I had to try and actually make something, get a project, out the door, and just see what happens. Never want to go with the smart choice, I went with option 2. It was on a call with my friends when I realised. I wanted to draw from my experiences getting shit-faced with said friends. I remembered the sort of bliss, the connection that I felt in those drunken moments, all the laughs and the joy. I wanted to effectively bottle that and put it into a little game I could sell on Steam, $5, fine. And of course, what better way to do that than to work in that setting directly? Working title Bar Fight Game was born, although I quickly retitled that to Last Orders. I thought of it as a kind of social sandbox. It was little more than a backdrop for you to mess around with your friends, to create those experiences I'd had before. After all, the joy there didn't necessarily come from the drinking or the pub. It came from my friends, but the pub was the setting that brought that joy to life. The initial development process was actually quite smooth. See, my existing project was all built on Steam's lobby-based multiplayer, so a lot of the code from that I could just take wholesale and put straight into Last Orders. I took the lobby flow, player movement, countless other little things, and I just lifted them straight into this new game. But then came the rest. I need to drink this. The first original thing I developed was, surprisingly, the animations. You see, generally with a game, you would start with the mechanics first, get everything feeling right, then you move on to polish stuff like the animations. But I knew with Last Orders, the most important thing really was the vibes. So I took some animations from Mixamo because God knows I don't have the time or the talent to make them all myself. Created a whole locomotion system where, crucially, every animation had two states. There was a sober state and a drunk state, and I could dynamically blend between those to try and show intuitively how drunk each avatar was. This was all just using the standard boxy avatar that I use in all my videos because I couldn't bother to make anything else. Then I created the attack animations, I made a nice looking combo. It was only at that point that I went on to actually adding the combat implementation. So with the fight part of Bar Fight Game done, I had to move on to the bar part. And the first step to that was populating the bar. After all, you and 4 friends isn't enough to exactly be a packed night out. So I created a bunch of NPCs. I took as much as I could from the player code so that they'd feel like genuine patrons of the bar. They have the same base movement and all the same functionality, just with a little things telling them what to do effectively. NPCs exist by default in a passive state, driven by activities such as drink, smoke, gamble. But when they're attacked, their aggression value goes up, which switches them into an aggressive state. The aggression value is determined by how much damage each attack does. It then sets a target to whoever attacked them. The higher their aggression value, this changes how they'll respond. For example, at a lower aggression value, they might just push, and at a higher aggression value, they'll move on to that big attack combo I devised earlier. There's also a small multiplier whenever aggression is added, so some NPCs will react more strongly than others. For instance, one NPC might bump into another NPC, but then if that NPC is angry enough, they'll push that NPC back. And then the first NPC will punch back, which creates effectively a dynamic fight. And then here's the kicker. During that fight, one of those NPCs might be knocked back, pushed into another NPC who then themselves gets angry, and effectively you get these naturally occurring pile-ups of big bar fights that just happen over time. With NPC behavior devised, I had to make actual drinks. Despite it not being my drink of choice, I'm more of a cider drinker, I start with beer. I mean, it's the iconic drink. I made a basic liquid shader for it, so wobble around. Imagine Half-Life Alyx, but neutered. Pressing your use key makes you drink the beer. You can either take a small sip or chug it. But this begs the question. What does drinking actually do? Well, it's a pub game. Drinking gets you drunk. Intoxication, represented by this wobbly, blurry screen effect, does a few different things. Your movement goes all wobbly, your mouse movement lags, your punches do more damage, they set enemies further. So basically, the drunker you are, the more power you have. After 12 beers, you're effectively a staggering around killing machine. Just like in real life. Next up, I added cigarettes. You take them out of your pocket, light them, and at that point, they effectively operate the same way as beer though. Instead of getting you drunk, they heal you. The more cigarettes you smoke, the higher your health goes. Just like in real life. And next up, I did gambling. A favourite pastime of those regulars that want to convince themselves that going to the pub was somehow a financially lucrative idea. And of course, they're right. I modelled the actual fruit machine, and at that point I had to come up with a design. Most fruit machines you see, they have some sort of sexy female mascot on it, but I was not going to stand for that objectification. So I searched the bowels of my friend group's inside jokes, and I found this. Gassy William. I mean, is this not just the pinnacle of sexuality? Is this not the most beautiful thing you've ever seen? So with that done, I made a basic slot machine game. It's really nothing special. You get 3 in a row, you get a prize. You get 5 in a row, you get a bigger prize. And of course, the biggest jackpot comes from getting 5 Gassy Williams in a row. At this point, the game was starting to come together. And one thing was sticking out like a sore thumb. These damn player avatars. I mean, I like the general blocky design. I think the animations look extra funny on them. But these just don't look like people. So I took some reference photos of myself, plastered that across them so they roughly modelled the clothes to look like mine, and then slapped my face in low resolution across them. And my immediate reaction was, that is funny. So I kept it. I got 4 of my friends to send in their own reference photos and made a bunch of player avatars that the player could choose from. Next, for some added silliness, I added dancing. Players and NPCs will select a random dance, play the animation, lock them in place for a time, and then they move off. I made this nice looking dance floor that you could dance on, but that begs the question, if they're dancing, what are they dancing to? I needed music. Initially what I wanted to do was just use a bunch of royalty-free stuff. It avoids copyright issues and also, again, funny. I mean, after all, what's better than jamming out to some Kevin MacLeod? But then, my friend suggested, I could make a song. And they put together this really funny kind of... Sorry. Do you hear that? Oh god, no, it sounds like a crazy beat.
Get me in a bar and get me a beer. Give me all the drink and I'll drink them here. My tummy's really hurting. Get me to the loo. Get me to the toilet and watch me poo. I love drinking. I love booze. I love the toilet where I poo. She's knobbing on my nuts till they're brown and shriveled. I can't see straight cause my tab has crippled. I keep doing flips and it makes me to drink. After this drink, I'm gonna shit in the sink. Blowing fat O's from these fags that I'm chuffing. Drowning in the sink to the shit means nothing.
I don't have much else to add to that, actually. So, we've got a bar, we've got NPCs, we've got dancing, but we need to tie together the social experience. So I added the feature favourite among friend slot games the world over, proximity chat. This was surprisingly easy to implement. Unity has their own Premiere solution for this. It's called Vivox, and it's free for up to 5,000 concurrent users. And honestly, if I have 5,000 people playing this game at once, I can afford to pay a bit for the voice chat. And it was kind of at that point that I came to a really staggering realization. The game is kind of done. I mean, it's a buggy mess, don't get me wrong. But all the features are there. I'm going to spend the next few days as I record this, polishing it like crazy and also editing together this video. But it's a really gratifying feeling. I'm beyond proud that after all this time of never releasing anything, despite all the time that I spend making games, despite telling everyone that I'm a game developer, now, finally, I have something to my name. I mean, I'm sure it's not going to be the most polished thing in the world owing to the quick turnaround, but it's mine. I'm happy to put this out into the world. Look, I genuinely have no idea how this game is going to do. I haven't had the time to do a full marketing push. It has practically no wish list. It all kind of balances on how well this video does. No pressure. But it kind of doesn't matter to me. Ultimately, if just a few people play this, they have fun with their friends through something that I made, I'm happy with that. I'll consider it a success. I mean, it would be nice if I could afford to move at my parents' house, but I am by no means expecting that. With that said, it would mean the absolute world to me if you could give this game a try. Buy Last Orders on Steam, buy it! Buy it now! Buy Last Orders on Steam! Shit. Is this still recording? Yep. 16 minutes.